All right. Good morning, all. Welcome in. It is House Edge Live with John from Casino Gaming Central. There's no wrong feed. It's either vertical and it looks awesome, or it's horizontal and it is awesome. Either way. They're right. There's a little cell phone picture that goes in the front of the listing so you know which vertical or horizontal. Eventually, YouTube will figure it out. I mean, they are a big tech company after all. They will figure out how to know that I'm streaming on two feeds and merge them into one. Like, that's the whole point. And we're on this like this global beta test for YouTube right now, where they will eventually figure it out that if your phone is horizontal or vertical, it'll give you the right one automatically. Even if you like turn your phone during the show, it'll switch to the right one. That's the dream. So in the meantime, we have two feeds. And what's funny, here's what's funny. You want to hear something a little inside baseball? On these shows, and I don't know, maybe in chat, answer me this question. When I do a live, right, when I'm live right now, do you get ads during live show? I don't even know if you do. Do you get ads during live shows? Like, does it like stop me from talking and you get an ad? But what happens is this. After the show's over, there's two feeds. There's the horizontal and then there's the vertical. And what YouTube does, of course, it takes the vertical one and it puts it in everybody's phones so that when they're scrolling their shorts feed, it comes up, right? It's almost 4x right now, the number of views. Like the regular horizontal one shows, 200 and some views a day, whatever that is, right? The vertical one will get 300 to 900 views on the vertical one. 3 to 4 times the amount of people see the vertical feed versus the horizontal. That's why I do it. But the horizontal ones actually make more money. Now, it's not a lot. I mean, we're talking about one video making $12 versus, $9 or whatever the hell. These videos don't make any money, but you're talking like almost double the money for the wide version than the tall version, which is crazy. The tall version gets 4 times the views and half the money, but YouTube wants everybody to go with the tall ones. They can doom scroll. So eventually I'll get good enough at this where I can, after the show's over, kind of cut the short one or the tall one down to make more sense. Anyway, that's not why we're here. We're here to talk about the freaking casinos, aren't we? We're here to talk about why they hate you. Why do casinos hate you so much? Do you ever wonder that? Why do they hate you? I don't know if they hate you, but they actually kind of love your money. If you think about it, right? Casinos want to bankrupt you. It's the whole point of owning a casino is to bankrupt every one of your customers, right? It's not to, do any good for the world, right? I'm so altruistic, right? Just the truth. Right? That business model is to bankrupt and bleed their customers dry. And they don't do it typically in big swings. You'll notice this, right? Most casinos operate on that thin margin of house edge. That's why you got to play for hours and hours and hours. That's why they want you to be there all the time. Just remember that, right? And the only tool that you really have is your brain, right? We talk about the bridge almost every day here. Your brain is your big tool, right? It's how much bankroll you bring in. Right? And how do you feel about your bankroll? Are you okay with losing some of it? Or do you need it? Right? How does your risk tolerance act with your bankroll? Right? That helps you or hurts you in decision making. Yeah? Decision, like discipline, setting a goal, keeping your emotions out of it. All those things matter, right? It's all here and it's all here. That's the tool you have. You don't have enough money to beat them. We talked about risk of ruin a while back. Even if the games were fair, even if it was a legitimate coin toss, 50-50, and you win 1-1. Imagine that world. Imagine the world where it was a 50-50 game. If roulette had no zeros. Imagine roulette with no zeros and it paid you 37-1. It paid you proper. Imagine that world. You'd still lose. You would still lose. And I don't think people really understand that, the mathematics behind that, but you can't beat them because it doesn't go win-loss, 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 win-loss forever so you can stay tied forever. You're going to have these bad streaks, and eventually you'll run out of money in a bad streak, or you'll make shit decisions the way that you bet. Even when you know you're going to tie, you'll still make poor betting decisions, and you'll lose all your money. They have an unlimited supply of it, and that's why your brain and the tools that we give you on shows like mine and others, it's the most important tool you've got, and you got to use it. All right, so. With that said, let's get into it here. This is going to be kind of a short week. We talked about it already. I've already done the ABCs of roulette. We talked about playing roulette with the craps mindset. Whenever I do a roulette show from now on, I'm going to talk about it in terms of craps, because not for the rhythm of the game, but I'm going to talk about it in terms of betting mindset. I think I want to try and change roulette culture a little bit and get them away from always being martingales or always being spread, and basically lay 155 or 160 to win 10, which is insanity, right? That's not a good way to play any game, but that's how they approach it. We're going to change that. Okay. Today, I'm going to hit this topic in Fact or Fiction about rhythm. And I want to talk about craps rhythm, because craps rhythm is a real thing. Now, I had planned to do the rest of the week as a couple more shows, a pressure cooker show where I kind of do a long rollout or whatever, and maybe a dig it or dog it at the end. But I'm not going to be here tomorrow and the next day. We have 2 days off this week, and I'm off Monday. We're going to take a little trip, my wife and I, for a long weekend. So I'll be no shows for the next whatever. I'm back next Tuesday. So we're just going to do today's Fact or Fiction and kind of leave it at that. Okay. So, with that said, let's just hop right into it. Fact or Fiction. I want to know what you think about this. My theory is that, and the way Fact or Fiction works, by the way, is I'm going to give you kind of a theory. I'm going to debate myself on the theory. If you have something in chat that you want to add to this, you let me know. This is going to be a good one today, though, right? Fact or Fiction for today is going to be this concept of rhythm. Okay. And what I say here is, this is weird. It's kind of in the wrong spot. Make that a little bit wider. That's better. Okay. The game of craps has rhythm. We all know that, right? As craps players, we know there's a rhythm to the game. There's the puck on or off, the puck off, right? There are a lot of people who do things like, let's wait for 5. You've heard of the 5 count. Well, let a shooter establish a point and then I'll start, or let them make a point and then I'll start playing, right? Like prove themselves a little bit. There's all this, I would call it nonsense. It doesn't matter, right? The rhythm of the game doesn't matter. What matters is your bets and their resolutions. That's all that matters. All of that is hooey. And I'm going to try and prove that to you here today. We're going to write some stuff out. So I'm going to go to my table and I'm going to show you a couple of ways that people do things. And we're just going to go ahead and see in reality what the difference is. Okay. So let me get my table view going here. Pardon me. And we'll kind of roll some dice and write some numbers down. Let me get this, bam, there we go. Okay. So I'm going to write this down. I'll do it over here so everybody can see it. I'll write as big as I can, but I'm going to do this letter R for the raw numbers. And it's going to be kind of hard to see. I'm going to do a Sharpie. Have a Sharpie here? I think I do. That's better, right? R for raw. Okay. I'm going to do a 5 count guy, and I'm going to do a 1 count guy. Okay. And we're going to look at what rolls they're seeing. And that's all I'm going to show you. Okay. What rolls they're seeing. And I might even do some other ones here, but for now, we'll start with those 3. Okay. And we're just going to do a few rolls just to kind of get it through. I'm going to get my Yahtzee dice out and let's just roll it out. So we're going to follow the rhythm. The first guy is just going to have bets out there with rhythm. And it doesn't matter what the bet is, but we can take, for argument's sake, just a bet on the 10. It doesn't matter what we're betting on. Let's just look at the 10. And we'll just see how many times the bet on the 10 resolves. Because this is the one I was saying the other day, the 4 and 10, because the 4 and 10 kind of match the dozens on roulette. That's a good example for us. Let's just look at one of those. We're playing 1 dozen. It's the 10. Here we go. I rolled a 6. We'll just make the point the 6. Okay, so the regular guy is got a 6. And we're going to say that he's going to roll. He's going to be active every single roll. He's never going to take a roll off. Like roulette, you can't take a spin off. Same thing here. He's going to run against the 7 all the time. And there's an 8. This guy here is going to do a 1 count. He's doing a 5 count. Okay, so I have to get my chips out to mark that. So the 1 count guy just saw a roll. The 5 count guy has seen 1 roll. He's not going to bet until after the shooter has rolled 5 times. This guy here, now that we've seen a roll, he's going to start betting. Again, same number. He's going to start betting. Okay, so he's in the game now. The next roll counts for him, and it's a 6. This guy here has seen his second one. Puck is going to be off. Don't care. The bets are on. There's a 4. Okay, so he's on the 4. Again, he's going to work table rhythm. He's working every single roll. So he still isn't ready to go yet. He still isn't ready to go yet. We're looking for rolls during the streak there. There's a 9. That's the third one. There's the 7 out. Okay, so we got a 7. That one counts. That one counts. Now, take all these away. There's a loss there. We'll do it again. Here we go. I'm going to put these over here. Coming out, we got another 6. Starting with the 1 count guy. There's a 9. So that was his 1. He saw 1. Now he's going to be live again. And that was 1 for the 5 count guy. And here we go. There's a 9. So he now sees a 9. That was the second one, right? No, that was the first one. The 9 was the first. No. Yeah, the 9. No, it was 2. It was 2 9s, right? Yeah, it was 2 9s. He only saw 1 of them. That was the difference. That was the second roll. Okay, here we go. Third one, maybe a 4. He's now playing all the rolls. There's an 11. I think the 5 count does not count 11s, if I'm not mistaken. It only count box numbers, right? There's a 10. All right, we got a 10. That's a winner. That's a 10. That's a winner for him too. Third roll. Another 9. Wowie. Maybe the 5 count guy gets to play after all, right? There's a 4. And there's a midnight, which doesn't count for anybody, but I'll write it down. A 12, a 3, a 12, and a 3. The 5 count guy has not played a roll yet. There's a 10. Fantastic. That's a winner for us. The 5 count, I'm going to put the 5 count guy's stuff down here because he's going to be in our way. Now he gets to play. There's the 5 count guy finally gets to play a roll. He's finally got a bet active. Okay, and again, we're going to just play the 10. Doesn't matter if it's a comeback, whatever's next. Here we go. The next roll is a 6. 5 count guy sees a 6. He sees a 6. He sees a 6. And here we go. I'll take all those away. The puck is off. Everybody's active now. We're coming out to a 5. There's another 5. Puck is off. Again, these guys here aren't really playing. There's an 8. This guy here does see the 8. He's working every single roll. I think I have an extra 5 here for these guys that they shouldn't be seeing. That come out 5 they wouldn't have saw. My mistake. Okay, point of 8. There's a 6. 6. 6. 7 out. Okay. That's one full cycle. And I want to review this with you. So I'm going to go ahead and I'm going to try, and I guess I really can't zoom in too well. But let me come back to the other screen and we'll talk through this. Okay. I'm going to go ahead. It's going to take me a second to do it. So let me go over here. Give me a second. We're going to go back to this view. Hold on. Let's go here. Okay. And let me just type these in for you. Okay. I'm going to type the rolls in and we're going to look at them on screen in my, actually I can just probably show it to you. We'll just go to this view here. And let's go to my notes app. Okay. Let's do counts. I'm going to zoom this way on it. Can I zoom this way in or no? Maybe I can't zoom that in too well. I guess if I do this, hold on, let me just change my screen a little bit here. Unlock that. We're going to go like this and like this. Whoops. Hold on. Bam. Bam. I'll make that as big as I can make it. There we go. That should be a little bigger. For the mobile people, same thing. Give me a second to just kind of adjust the size of the window here that you're seeing. And we'll make that a little bit nicer for you. Hold on. There we go. Okay. Let's type in what we saw. Okay. I'm going to go ahead here. We're going to type it in. So the one count guy, or the every roll guy, saw the following rolls. He saw a 6, an 8, a 4, a 9, a 7, a 6, 9, 9, 4, 11, 10, 9, 4, 12, 3, 10, 6, 5, 5, 8, 6, 7. That was actually one good roll in there, right? The one count with rhythm saw these numbers: 6, 7, 9, 4, 10, 9, 4, 12, 3, 6, 5, 6, and then the last 7. And the 5 count guy saw these numbers: 6, 5, 6, 7. Okay. Now, why is this important to me? Why do I give two craps about this? I wish I could make these things a little bit. Is there a way to make these things bigger in this app? Probably not, right? Oh, I can make them headings. There we go. That's better. Looking at those numbers, I want you to ask yourself a question. If you did the 5 count every day, 5 times a day for a year, right? How many rolls would be here? Okay. It's not about what did the 5 count save you from. In the first shooter, the 5 count saves you from a 7 out. In the second shooter, the 5 count cost you a billion rolls, right? But if you stacked up 5, 6, whatever, 7, right? You came out here and the next day you saw, nothing for a while. Then you saw a 9, a 5, and a 7. Okay. What is the 5 count saving you from? And when I ask the question is this: if you saw 1,000 rolls over the course of a month with the 5 count, it would just be 1,000 numbers in a line. If you think about that, your bets are alive for 1,000 numbers. Whether those 1,000 numbers happen in an hour, in 1 day and a half, right? Again, this guy here saw 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 22. He saw 22 rolls. This guy here saw 5, 10, 11, 12 rolls. This guy saw 4. Okay. So maybe that's about the average, right? 5. That's actually pretty interesting. 5 to 1, right? He saw 5 times as many rolls as he did. But if you take away this, take away the puck, it doesn't matter. If the puck is off or on, you're just looking at the rolls your bets were alive for. Okay. After 100 times playing, the 5 count guy will see about 1,000 rolls. Okay. Again, minus the puck. This guy here will see the same number of rolls in probably 50 plays. This guy here will see the same number of rolls in 20 times or 5 times, whatever it is. Okay. It doesn't matter if the puck is on or off. It doesn't matter if you waited for 1 and then started playing. It doesn't matter if you just play every single roll, or wait for 5, or wait for 10, or when the puck goes off the table, or after the horn number. Maybe after the horn number, you took a roll off. I know people who do that. Horn number is on, roll comes off. Let's pretend you did that. Let's take the no horns. 1 count, no horns. That person would have saw these numbers, right? They would have saw, let me just make this, let's take that out and see what the difference is. Make that a subheading. I guess I make it a subheading. Is that what it is? Font, subheading. Okay. Or no, make it a heading. Right there. This guy here would have saw the 12, but not the 2 or the 3. That's the difference, right? 1 count and no horns. So he would have saw a little bit of a different rhythm. Does it matter ultimately? Because if you just look at the numbers that you were around for, and there's 1,000 of them back to back to back to back over the course of a week, month, year, whatever it is, it doesn't matter. But we get sucked into this idea that in isolation, let me go back to the other screen here. We get sucked into this idea that because we were off for a little while, we were smart and we didn't have our bets exposed. My bets weren't exposed to the danger. Well, of course they are. Whenever they're on, they're on. Whether you waited 5 rolls and saw 1, waited 5 rolls, saw a second one, you still saw 2 rolls. I saw 2 rolls too. I just saw them a half an hour ago. You saw them over the course of an hour. It doesn't matter unless you got the golden touch and you're super shooter or you're whatever. You're waiting for your friend to get his toss dialed in. I can understand that argument. But in general, it doesn't matter that craps has rhythm. It matters when your bets are, and again, come out sequence, a little different story, but it doesn't matter. There's 1 count, 2 count, 3 count, 5 count, and roulette kind of shows you that. Roulette doesn't have a rhythm to it. There's no, let me get a non-zero number, and then that's the point, and then we're going to roll the roulette, spin the roulette ball until it happens. Yeah? That doesn't happen in roulette. It doesn't happen in blackjack. There's no blackjack thing that you can't play until the dealer gets to 21, and then everybody gets to play. That doesn't happen either. All the other games have they're every single hand, every spin, every whatever, your bets live and die. In craps, they don't, and we get sucked into this idea that it matters if you wait a few rolls, or if you don't bet until the shooter's made a point. You could be there all damn day, and you think you're smart because your bankroll is depleting at a much slower rate than mine is, but it still depletes over time. There's no difference. If you seeing 1,000 rolls over 5 days and 1,000 rolls in 1 day, you're still seeing 1,000 rolls. It doesn't matter when those rolls come. They're going to come to you when they come to you. And I think that's a foolishness that we get sucked into, right? So when I hear guys like Ken from Ken Knows Gambling, Waylon from Waylon's Way Craps talking about just work your bets, especially the 4 and 10, work your bets. You're playing it even against the 7 on those things. Work your bets. Doesn't matter the puck rhythm. Just let it happen, because you're going to see the same number of rolls anyway. All you're doing is giving yourself time to take a drink while it happens. That makes sense, everybody? So that's my opinion. Even though craps has rhythm, it doesn't matter. All you care about in your strategy when you're playing a crap strategy is what happens when I'm exposed. And if I go back down to my table again for one more quick little demo here, and this will be a fast one, I promise. When I'm down, come on, there you go. There you go. Click the button, Johnny. All right. When I'm down here, right, and I'm looking at one thing, if I go, whatever the bet is, it doesn't matter if it's 110 inside or if it's a $50 lay 10. It doesn't matter what the bet that I'm making is. Okay. When the puck is on and my bets are also on, all that matters is what I'm exposed for when my bets are on and what am I going to win when they come in. That's all that matters. Whether you say, I'm spooked. Whoop, there goes my dice. I'm spooked because the dice are off the table, turn them off. I'll put it over here, you can see it. There's no shine. I'm spooked, turn my bets off, right? And the 7 comes. You might think you're a freaking genius. I know people who say, see, I told you. Genius, right? It doesn't mean a damn thing, because the very next roll is a 7, the puck is off, guy rolls a point, it's a 5, you turn your bets back on, and wouldn't it be great if I would have 7 down, and he 7's out, right? That next roll could be a 7 too. It doesn't matter, right? It's going to come when it comes. All that matters to you is when my bets are working, what rolls am I seeing? You better make good decisions when your bets are working. And that's why I think craps players have this kind of mentality of, well, I can just feel what's happening and I can tell what's about to go down because of what just happened. You can't. And waiting a bunch of rolls to prove a shooter can drop Yahtzee dice in a great way and prove that he can freaking play, right? There's 4, there's 5, now I can play, right? Just because I proved that I can drop these dice and didn't get a 7 by chance means you're allowed to bet now is folly. And I think that a lot of people, unfortunately, fall into that mess, right? What matters is, where's your money? When is it exposed? What are you exposed for? And how much you're going to win when it happens. That's all that matters. And I think the more I study games like roulette and blackjack, and again, I've been playing craps more than those games for the last 10, 15 years. But I grew up on those games. And you got to remember, there's no difference. I'm exposed for every bet when I'm playing blackjack or Bach or spin and roulette. I'm always out there. Every bet's always live all the time. Craps, you have this weird rhythm where you can take time off. Doesn't matter. When your bets are on, you're exposed. And again, if you tracked 4 rolls over an hour versus 24 rolls over an hour, it doesn't matter. You're still going to see 24 rolls over the course of the day. You're just taking breaks in between, turning around. It's no different to me turning around talking to a friend for a minute, turn my bets off while I talk to my friend who's walking by, spending 5 minutes and coming back and I missed 5 rolls. There's no difference. Now I'm back. I'm going again. Doesn't mean that what the bad thing is due. Just think about that. And that's my fact or fiction. I'd love in chat if you could throw in your thoughts on it, right? There's not going to be a real dig it or dog it section this week. But this is an important topic, and I've said this before. So I wanted to put a little bit of rhythm to it there. So I'm going to go ahead and try and run through some Q&A if I can. Let me get to the next screen here and to see what I can see in the chat. So give me a second to kind of go through here. There are ads so a live show has ads at the beginning. Is that what you're saying, Skill? So when I first go live, there's an ad and then it's on. Okay. Good to know. I don't even know how this shit works. Honestly, I press the button and I go live. That's really it. Dr. S responding into the bridge section. If you need the money, you shouldn't be gambling with it. A fool and his money are soon parted. Very, very true. And again, that's one of the things that me and Ken and some other guys are just most passionate about. It's not about the strategy you play. It's about how you play the strategy. And I think that's, of all the lessons I could ever give anybody, that's the number one lesson. It's not about the strategy you play. There's a billion of them, a million ways to play every game. It's not about which one you choose. It's how you choose to play it. When you leave, how much you're buying in for, what are your bet sizes to get started with, what's your goal getting out. It's so freaking important. Okay. Dice Dr. Dan said, do I think these new bet on anything websites will end up getting gambling prohibited by law? Yes, I 100% do. They found a loophole on these sites. And if you don't know what he's talking about, they're called prediction markets. You can bet in like my bank is going to start doing it. Well, like your Robinhood account or whatever, you can bet on anything. It's not really a bet. You're making an investment and the investment pays on an outcome or not. That's all it is. It's like you're buying a 1 hour stock is kind of how that works. They found a loophole in it. That'll go away. Congress will 100% get rid of that. I think honestly, talking about, with Casino Quest guys, I talk to them guys all the time, and David always says, Vegas is changing and all this kind of stuff. And what are the biggest changes that you see? And I think most of us, and raise your hand in chat, by the way, there's how many people here? We got like 40 people here. Raise your hand in chat if you're over 50. Just give me a thumbs up, right? Every thumbs up if you're over 50, thumbs down if you're below 50. That's what I want to see right now. Thumbs up and thumbs down. Because Vegas was built back in the day, right? Everybody from every age group, when you were 21, you got to gamble, you go to Vegas. When you're old and you're doing the rhythm thing, right? You get to gamble at 50. Now, it's this. Everybody's got the prediction markets. The kids are, I hate to say it, I sound like an old fart. The kids are betting parlays and sports betting on the way to work, right? They're taking a shit and they're making bets in the bathroom, right? They don't come to Vegas anymore. Like Vegas, like that, there's a big vacuum of young people, not the rich young people, but regular young people don't give two shits because they can play Buffalo slots on their phone. They can play craps on their phone. They can do everything on their phone now, right? There's no need to go and have the Vegas experience unless it's a thing, birthday party, whatever it's going to be. Vegas is getting crushed, and so is AC. Just on that note alone, there's no need to go because you can do it all here. But I think the prediction markets, to answer your question, Dan, are going to go away. I predict legislation around online gambling the way it was before because it's just costing too many people too much money. And I think it's going to be a thing. I think that you're going to see something around that. And I'll bet you that even though Vegas is behind the money behind a lot of that stuff, I bet you Vegas starts pulling money from those apps and those ads and whatever else goes into the gambling apps. And you'll start seeing them want people back in town because people in town, asses in seats, is where they make their money, not here. And I bet you Vegas leads the charge to shut their own shit down. You watch. They'll be the ones that lobby. All right. I know nothing about Spin Quest. What is that, a slot? I have no idea. I don't know what that is. You can say it in chat though, Skill. Newberry, with a 50-50 game, what do you think the percentage that moves away from 50-50 starts to return to balance? Oh boy, that's a good question. I don't even know. That's a tough question to ask because Do I think the percentage that moves away from 50-50 and starts to return? The thing is, the farther you get away from 50-50, I think this is going to sound weird. The farther away from 50-50 you get, the quicker balance returns. And that's just in testing, right? Because when you're outside of 50-50, the 4 and 10 are a great example. They pay 2-1. A short run, when you're out of quote unquote rhythm balance, catches you up a little quicker. In a regular 50-50 game, where you're guaranteed basically to tie or bleed slowly, it's almost impossible to overcome the edge or overcome the odds or have a lucky streak that makes sense. Where other games, craps, roulette in specific, you can get a quick run and catch back up. I think it actually comes back to the mean a little quicker, although it's more the ride's bumpier, right? Yeah, if I track all the numbers, the 7 will come out equal to the starting point. And again, I can track 1,000 numbers, right? Regular craps rhythm, 1,000 straight up numbers. You'll see, 16.6% of them will be 7s. If I went roll a dice, take 5 rolls off, roll a dice, take 5 rolls off, and I did that 5,000 times, I would have 1,000 numbers. And in that 1,000 numbers that are left, that ones you actually were exposed to, you'd see 16% of them will be 7s. It just is what it is. There's no getting around that. There's no getting around it. It just takes that much longer to get you there, but it's the same 1,000 rolls. And I think that's a big thing. Let's see. Oh, that's cool. Back row pattern for craps. Players point. I love that, right? Wayland does that actually. We have a strategy that we created way back called the Baccarat strategy for craps. And it was a line bet. It was basically going back and forth, pass line, don't pass based on what wins, right? So if you think about one of those two following the streak of that, it's a very Baccarat way to look at things. So that's pretty cool. I like that. We should talk about this too. Also try the last number that triggers the 7. So there's a trigger play. There's also a bet series like that called the Ricochet, where you're betting the last thing that came and you're kind of laying the last thing that came. So it's very interesting. All right. What do we have up here? No different than the folks that believe in DI. It means nothing in reality, but it makes them believe it. So no harm. Yeah, you're right, Ken. There's no harm, no foul in the 5 count. It just delays the inevitable. That's all that it kind of does. So, all right. Wattage Live is here. Good to see you. Hopefully you're still here. Cruising Crap. This is why. Thank you. Once in a while, I get a good thought, and it turns into a decent show. So a lot of thumbs up on the old people. Nick is below 50. Brent Jones is 49 again. My sister-in-law says, "How old are you?" I'm 42 again. Like that's her answer to everything. It's pretty funny. Yeah. Okay. Cool. Let's get on out of here, guys. I got to get out. SpinQuest is a new legal way to gamble online. I'll check it out, Skill. I have not seen it yet. I don't know what it is. I'll check it out. It's interesting. I live in a state where you can't gamble online. Like in Washington, this is why, except for the prediction markets, we can't. You have to go to the casino and gamble, sports gamble. It's stupid. With your phone on property. You can only do it with the geofence on the property. So I got to drive 2.5 hours to make a sports bet, which is a little bit insane. Anyway, there it is, guys. I'm out. Y'all have a great day. I will see you. I'll see you next Tuesday. I'm going to be traveling for the next couple days. Back on Monday, show on Tuesday. I may do a show Monday night. We'll see. But really, I'll be back Tuesday. And I think we're going to do money management next week. I'm going to do a full 4 days. Let me go back a couple screens here. Let me go back to, hold on a second. Next week, the 4 days, ABCs of gambling, fact or fiction, pressure cooker, dig it or dog it, all 4 will be money management. And I may even borrow some wording from Ken, because we're going to talk about envelopes. We're going to talk about splitting your money up into multiple accounts. We're going to talk about what it means to lock up money at a table and walk away a winner. What does it mean to lock up money and play the short stack? We're going to talk about all that stuff next week. 4 days of money management goodness. All right. Love y'all. God bless everybody. I will see you when I get back. Wish me safe travels. And until then, bye.